Boris Johnson is still in office as Prime Minister, despite a significant rebellion among Conservative MPs in tonight's vote of confidence. The result was declared barely an hour ago, and the scale of Mr Johnson's victory, by some 63 votes, was described by Downing Street as decisive, that was their word, but was said by rebels to be a clear sign that Mr Johnson's days as leader were numbered. Well, under the current rules, Mr Johnson can't now face another challenge to his leadership for 12 months. So let's take a look at the result. There were 211 Conservative MPs declaring their confidence in the Prime Minister, while 148 declared no confidence in their leader. Number 10 said the result was a renewal of the Prime Minister's mandate. We'll have detail and reaction, but first our political editor Chris Mason brings the story of the vote and the result, which many people are seeing at Westminster as a substantial blow to the Prime Minister's authority.
After months of awkward questions for Boris Johnson, weeks of mounting speculation and a day of intense, public, sometimes angry argument, the moment. A verdict, the result, with yes, the potential to remove Mr Johnson as Prime Minister, but also shape his future in the job.
The vote in favour of having confidence in Boris Johnson as leader was 211 votes, and the vote against was 148 votes. And therefore, I can announce that the Parliamentary Party does have confidence.
A mathematical victory for Boris Johnson, but boy, those numbers are awkward for him. More than 40% of his MPs labelling him a liability the country would be better off without. But he insisted.
I think it's an extremely good, positive, conclusive, decisive result, which enables us to move on, to unite and to focus on delivery. And that is exactly what we're going to do.
Westminster is now digesting the result, those wanting Mr Johnson out, beaten tonight, but insisting they're not defeated.
I think, frankly, it's very bad indeed. I was expecting that we might make three figures. I hadn't expected a third, more than a third, of the Parliamentary Party expressing no confidence in the Prime Minister. That is severely damaging for him and his reputation.
For the opposition parties today, a chance to stand back and watch their opponents in a mess.
This evening, the Conservative Party had a decision to make: to show some backbone or to back Boris Johnson. The British public are fed up with a Prime Minister who promises big but never delivers.
The day began with Sir Graham Brady announcing that the moment some Conservative MPs longed for and others desperately hoped to avoid had come.
The threshold of 15% of the Parliamentary Party seeking a vote of confidence in the Prime Minister has been passed. Therefore, a vote of confidence will take place within the rules of the 1922 committee.
Within moments, the public argument began, Cabinet Ministers offering their best spin on things.
Do you accept that the bottom line is a vote of confidence is bad news for any leader?
I think that I've already said to some other broadcasters, it's the privilege of any Member of Parliament to choose to request a new leader. I don't think that's the right choice, but I'm not going to condemn people.
How can the Prime Minister possibly recover from this?
Well, by winning. And at one vote win is enough.
Two Cabinet Ministers turning out together. What does that say? It suggests to me that you're worried.
Actually, I would say it suggests unity and strength, actually. We're both in the same position of supporting the Prime Minister. I think it's the right thing for our country and our party to draw a line under this tonight and move forward and get back to focusing on the core issues that affect all of our constituents.
Yes, I echo what Brandon's just said. I really urge my Conservative colleagues in Parliament to unite today.
Supporters in the foreground, critics wanting to be heard too, as the Prime Minister's anti-corruption champion decided to resign.
Leadership and integrity are absolutely central to the ministerial code. They are baked into it, they run through it like a stick of rock.
So
and I'm afraid is that means he's broken the ministerial code, and that means, as a result, that it's a resignation matter for any minister, and it also has to be a resignation matter for me as well.
And there was another junior resignation later. John Lamont stood down as a ministerial aide to the Foreign Secretary. Enter next a potential successor as Prime Minister. Jeremy Hunt took on Boris Johnson last time and lost. Today he tweeted, "We are no longer trusted. Change or lose. I'll be voting for change." And if you think that sounds blunt, listen to this response to it from the Culture Secretary.
I'm incredibly disappointed that Jeremy Hunt, who said throughout, "I'm not going to challenge the Prime Minister while there's a war in Ukraine," has come out and challenged the Prime Minister on the day Russia sends rockets into Kyiv.
A party rowing in public, a result some distance from definitive. The questions about Boris Johnson's future won't go away.
Well, let's go live to the Houses of Parliament, just a stone's throw away from here, and Chris is there. Let's talk about the margin of Mr Johnson's victory, Chris. Were you surprised by how relatively modest it was, and what does that mean?
More importantly, Huw, those on the Prime Minister's side were surprised. At lunchtime today, I talked to one minister, a loyalist as far as Boris Johnson is concerned, who didn't think the numbers would be anywhere near where they ended up. They thought it might creep into three figures. They thought it might reach a third of the parliamentary party, around 120, not nearly 150, not more than 4 out of 10 Conservative MPs concluding that they would be better off without Boris Johnson. And that means tonight this will not go away. These moments are always difficult for a party leader. The best they can hope is suppress the number as low as possible. That's why we saw his supporters saying a victory by one is a victory. They were managing that expectation, and so tonight they can say they did a lot better than that. But the key political question, rather than arithmetic, mathematical question, is where does this leave the Prime Minister? It leaves him in a situation where the rebels will think they can still dislodge him sooner rather than later. They will carry on making the argument that the party would be better off without him. For now, Boris Johnson will take a deep breath. This whole conversation, though, will simply not go away.
Chris, for now, many thanks. Chris Mason there for us at the Houses of Parliament with the latest analysis after the vote, which came in just about an hour ago.